Good evening. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you today. Very, very glad and excited to see you. Thank you for making that time to come through and watch and listen in and learn one or two things. So I'm very glad to have you today evening. My name is Jonan Kanwanaho, and I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited. And at Jonaki Holdings Limited, we offer credit. We offer financial relief. If you need money, you need a loan, quick one, you want to clear that consignment or import that car or do that urgent task, we are here to serve you. You can always check us out at www.jonakiholdings.com. Yes, so I'm glad to have you. I always look forward to having you every Friday because we usually meet here every Friday from 5:30 to 5:50 for strictly 20 minutes to learn from one another. As you may know, iron sharpens iron. So if you know what you know and you don't pour it into someone else, before you know it, you've lost it. And then you cannot even create gap for learning more and more or getting more and more information. So learn to share your knowledge with someone, learn to support someone with your knowledge because it is okay. It is even healthier to share your knowledge that the Lord has entrusted you with. Great. So, and all these videos that I talk, or the business talks that I do, or the interactions that we usually have, I post them on my YouTube channel at Jonan Kandwano, so you can always check it out in case you miss out. Yes, so today's topic is quite an interesting one. I've been leaning a lot on clients recently, especially in the industry of money lending. And if you lend money in the financial industry, some of these tips will help you a lot. And that informs our today's topic, which is the proper and professional way of dealing with defaulters. Now, when you're lending money, you have two categories of clients. There are clients that come with the intention to pay back. There are clients that come with the intention to pay back. Someone has a plan, clear spelled out plan. They have the capacity, they have the collateral, they have all the requirements that you need that they need to acquire the loan or facility from your company. Now, the second category is the one that actually plans for you. They plan for you, they work out their plan, they are very sure that, you know what, I am taking this money with the intention not to pay back. That's the second category. Now, in the first category is that someone might have the plan to pay back. Someone might have the plan to actually do as agreed as per the loan schedule or something like that. But eventually things might go haywire. And they are not able to actually pay. Not pay in time, but also not to pay at all. Like they've totally failed. Probably they picked the money, put in a venture that was new or because of COVID or any other thing that happened, and they get out of business. And they really, really genuinely, they cannot afford to pay you. Now, when they get to a fix, or when they get to that level, they start devising means on how to jump out very well. Because look, ultimately, if you got the money from a company, you actually have to sit down with the person who has lent you the money to work out a modality on how you can actually pay. But when such things happen, some of the clients turn rowdy. So you need to actually know how to deal with them. That even when someone has the ability, even when someone is assessed properly and they actually have the capacity to pay, and they have the collateral committed, and they have your goodwill, you are actually probably dealt with them for second, third, or fourth time, you actually need to know that such a thing can arise. We've had clients who have transacted with us for, 1, 2, 3, or probably even 4 times. They've been paying well, but at the 5th time, things go out of hand. Or even sometimes, someone is preparing you for some eventuality. Guy first comes for 5 million, he asks for 10 million, then 50, and then he vanishes. Or then he defaults. So you need to prepare for such clients. So what do I tell you on that, on the first category? It is important that even when someone is coming for the 5th time, yes, make it easy for them to transact with you because they built the rapport, because they've seen their credit, the ability to pay back, They've also built their credit history with you. Their credit rating probably is very good, but do not skip procedures. If it is a procedure that you actually have to go through, do not skip procedure just because someone has transacted with you for more than 3 times. Because some of the clients are preparing you for a big shot, and before you know it, they're going to give you a last kick, which might not be a very good one. Good. And now, still in the first category, if it so arises that they've genuinely failed to actually pay, it is important to sit down and restructure the facility. If you cannot restructure the facility, still you have to devise a modality on how you can actually recover the loan, because ultimately you only need maybe 100 people based on the clients that you serve to get out of business. So what do you need to do? You have to have a collateral as a constant. Whether I'm coming for the 3rd, 4th, or 5th time, I actually have to have a collateral. And in having a collateral, it doesn't mean that it's a matter of just having a collateral. You have to follow the procedure before you actually foreclose on the collateral. Have you talked to this client enough? So the first step number 1, reminder. It is important to remind the client. And according to the Money Lenders Act of 2016 and the regulations of 2018, it is important that you remind the client. Based on the country you're in, it is important that you serve a reminder, because if things get out of hand and you actually have to go to the court of the law, there has to be evidence that you served the demand notices, that you told this client that, you know what, you've not paid up the loan as agreed in the agreement. And you don't even need 1 reminder. So you need to serve at least 3 reminders. 1, 2, 3 in a given stipulated time. So do not get tired of actually reminding. So the first key thing, that's for the first category, is remind, and remind before you think of recovery. So if you have all this paperwork, if you have all these letters served, and the client, because of the fix they've jumped into, or because of the bad deal they've encountered, they want to default on you, you actually have an upper hand. Because look, you've reminded this person both by the system and also by the letters that you've served them. Now, the reminders could be online, because like for us, we have a system. It automatically reminds you that, you know what, your loan is due by 10th March, 5 p.m. So you actually need to pay. It actually reminds you 3 days before. It reminds you on the real day, and then a few days after. So those are constant reminders. But even when someone had the thought of probably defaulting, or they genuinely forgot to actually to pay, this can be a very helpful thing. Remind both on system, email, or text. Step number 2, call. If the reminder happens to go through, you're certain that the system has sent a reminder, an email or text message, it is important that if the due date is nearing or it has arrived, you actually have to pick your phone and call. The loans officer responsible in your company has to pick the phone and call. That should be 2 or 3 days before, because forgetting is normal. I can even probably not check my emails or even read the text messages. Some people are very busy, based on the clients that you're actually serving. But some clients are genuinely very busy. So actually picking a call and calling them, or the responsible relationship manager picking a phone and calling them, is a great deal. So step number 2, pick that phone call and call. So that when the D-Day arrives, or when it's almost past the due date, the due date, there is no excuse. All the things you're doing so that the client has no excuse for not paying you or for not paying in time. So pick the phone call and call them. Point number 3. In case the client does not come through on the D-Day and the days thereafter, you actually need to visit the client. That's why it's important that in assessing the client, even when they apply for a facility, you actually need to know where they work from. And it's not about me telling you where I work from. You actually have to go right ahead and prove that actually this person works from ABCD. We've seen clients who have come and it tells you that, I work probably with the UN, and only to find out that the person was probably a service provider of the UN. Or probably he was, he has a company that has ever provided service to UN. They're actually not working with the UN. So you need to go ahead and confirm that this person works with this institution that they are alleging to work with. That will help you a lot. That even when someone does not have an intention of defrauding you or defaulting on your facility, it is important that you do your homework. Because look, before you start counting the profits, the interest you're going to make from this facility, from this money, it is important that you secure the money that you're lending out. That is your ultimate goal. If you're going to keep in business, it is important that you secure the facility first, the principal first. So all this assessment is done so that your hands are clear, your hands are in good position, that in case of anything, you can actually recover. Because if you don't, you start losing principal. And if you start losing principal, that is the core, that is the blood of the business. It will only be a matter of time and you'll be out of business. So you know you're losing, do not plan to lose your principal. And you can only not lose your principal if you do your assessment properly. And among your assessment steps that I'm emphasizing is you visiting the person that you're giving the money, or establishing that, you know, as they are alleging to be working from here, do they actually work from there? You need to do a 360 degrees of assessment of the client. So you need to visit their facilities under the assessment step. Visit the facilities. You may think you're saving on the transport, maybe 10K, maybe 30,000, maybe whichever, based on where they work, but it's important. This thing is going to help you. If you cannot afford to commit 10 million or 50 million, and you cannot afford to find out where someone works, and even actually get the evidence of what it is, if need be actually given the amount of money in question, you actually have to get a letter of undertaking from the human resource, the employer. Because look, if I come and get a facility from you, and I am telling you that I'm going to use my salary to pay you, then I should be able to actually commit. Because you see, in Uganda here, it is a law that, you know, you cannot deduct more than 50% of someone's income. So some of the people are indebted, and not indebted to, you know, to commercial banks. Because if I'm indebted to a commercial bank and you run my CRB, you'll come to notice that I'm actually indebted to a commercial bank. And then you'll be hesitant to give me a loan. But you see, these guys are even committed financially to other financial institutions, which are not party to the Credit Reference Bureau. They do not subscribe to the Credit Reference Bureau. That's why you found out that, you know, whereas this guy owes you money, he further owes another lender money, he owes a circle money. You find the guy has like 5 institutions he has borrowed money from, and all of them expect him to pay. And, you know, it's already even beyond 50% of his income. And according to the law, you're not supposed to deduct more than 50% of someone's income. So you can imagine the mix that you can be in. But you see, if you get a letter of undertaking from a human resource, you will be aware that, you know what, this person, whereas he needs 30 million, he can only afford maybe 20 million because he earns only 2 million per month. So you need to get this information. It will help you a lot. And you see, you're doing this not because the clients you're serving, you don't trust them or you don't what, but trust is confirmed at the last payment. You can only confirm the trust if the client has cleared the facility. I've seen scenarios, you tend to trust someone, but somehow, somewhere, things do not work out. Or the person you expected to be a responsible person does the least of the things you actually expect. Or behaves in a way that is way funny and different from what you expected. So it is important that even, actually that's a proof of trust. If you can get from me a letter of undertaking from your employer, that means you're increasing my trust in you, because you're actually proving that you're a genuine person. It's one of the ways that I can actually prove that you're a genuine client. That is on the side of the client. But for you as a lender, it is also important. It is also important that you do your homework and do your due diligence, do your steps very well. That in case of any eventuality, you actually have an edge, you have an upper hand. Because look, if I got a letter of undertaking from the human resource, there's no way I'm going to come again and you say, you know what, I didn't know about this transaction. So why did you give him the money? He's actually already highly indebted to the circle or any other financial institution. So you'll have an edge beyond any other institutions, any other financials, the financial institutions that have lent him the money. So please endeavor, if it is a relationship manager or officer or a client loan officer, let him or her make sure that they actually know where the client works. Then in case of any eventuality, they know where to go. Because if you have to recover, then you actually have to visit. You cannot visit where you do not know where the client hails from. Point number 4. In case all the 3 do not go through or go as planned, you now have to know that you're dealing with the wrong client or that things have gotten out of way. And this, I'm still talking about the first category of the clients that come and get money with the intention to actually pay back. Now you've used the real proper means, but now time has come that all the steps that I've highlighted above have not yielded results. You have reminded them automatically, and by later, you have called them, nothing has come through. You have actually visited them, and they've not yielded anything much. So you actually have the 4th step. You have to start thinking on how you can actually foreclose on the item that was committed as a collateral. But if you cannot foreclose according to the law before going through the steps I've highlighted, you have to have served default notices. You have to have served demand notices. If you've not, then even if you foreclose on the item, it can backfire. There is that likelihood. So it's important that you go through the right steps before you actually foreclose on the item or the collateral that was committed to you. The last, probably the bonus of all, is that it is important that you usually talk to the client. In case something goes haywire, in case something goes out of hand, it is on the side of the lender, but also on the side of the borrower. Talk to the client. And if you're a client, you're a borrower, please talk to your financier. Because he's a human being, he's a company, but there are human behind that company. Talk to them. That will help you a lot. Now, I'll speak briefly on the second category. There are clients that come purposely, fully planned to defraud you. Now, those are terrible clients. One thing I want to highlight, among others, is that you need to deal very carefully with such clients. How do you deal carefully? Before you transact, before you wire money to the client, it is important. If it is a car, put a caveat first. We burnt our hands before. Some of the clients come on a Friday like today in the afternoon and they want 50 million. They want it now. Look, I was not with you when you're going through that deal that is putting on a lot of pressure. So it is healthy that you actually absorb your own pressure, so you don't throw it to the financial. So some of the fraudsters use that as an opportunity to come and put in a lot of pressure on the Friday afternoon, and they want money like now. As if the earth is going to collapse, as if the heaven is going to fall on earth. So it is important to take note. If there's a lot of pressure, if there's a lot of calls after call after call, when you're still just assessing, don't be on pressure. Stand your ground, or else cancel the loan. You're better off not transacting with that person than forcing the transaction and eventually it catches up with you. So it is important that you assess them all. But the key thing where we burnt our hands is that sending money, wiring money to the client's account before you put a mortgage on that land title is lethal. Or before you put a caveat on that column is lethal. Take your time, brief your officers or your staff, let them be bold. Not that they should delay clients, because you see, we are in business because we do bridge financing. Whereas the bank tells this person come after 3 weeks or 1 week or 3 days, I can afford to give this person money in 12 hours. So make sure your steps are very quick, but also make sure they are done well before you release the money. Why? Because, as I said before, you need to secure your principal. There's a scenario that happened to us. We wired money before putting a mortgage, and when we put a mortgage, the mortgage bounced. The land title was fake. Even the register of land could not differentiate whether this title was fake or original. He couldn't differentiate between the two titles. Which one was fake, which one was original. So you can imagine such a situation. And yet we had wired money. Only to backtrack, the guy had over 8 cases, fraud-related cases. And it was a chunk of money. So I wouldn't want you to fall in the ditch or to fall in a similar situation. Kindly, first put a caveat, first put a mortgage, make sure that everything is done before you actually transfer the money, irrespective of the pressure that the client puts on you. I agree, there are genuine clients. I agree, there are genuine clients that put you on genuine pressure, or they are probably in a fix, or they want to fund that thing urgently. That could even explain why they come to you as a money lender or a microfinance institution, because your steps are quicker. But also, do not compromise on your procedures just because you've been put on pressure. So I see our time is fast spent. I hope you apply. If you learn 1 or 2, 3 things and you apply, I'll be the happiest, because I know you'll grow, because I know you'll keep in business, because I know you'll get to see the future. But if you learn the things and you don't implement, you've wasted your time, you've wasted your data, you've wasted my time as well. Go out, learn. All things that I'm telling you, I've learned them out of experience. It is not hearsay. We are running them every day. So please, if you're lending and you want to keep in business, please implement. Gradually, one step at a time, and you eventually get it there, and you eventually make it there. And if you fall in a ditch already, collect yourself together and see how you can get out of that ditch. That's the only solution that you have at hand. It is harder, it is tougher, but you have to get going. You have to continue moving. You have to continue pushing. And that's only then that you can actually grow. Because you're not serving you, but also you're serving the employees that have families, that have dependents, but also serving the community, you're serving the country. You're not being in business, someone is going to miss out on your service. Particular service, the unique one, by you alone. I thank you for watching through. Thank you for listening in. God bless you. God bless the works of your hands. Have a great Friday evening and enjoy the rest of the weekend. See you next week, Friday, 5:30 p.m. Same channel. But also check out this video on my YouTube channel. Also check out www.jonakiholdings.com. I love you all and God bless you. I send you greetings, Jeremy from Costa Rica. It's been a while, my friend. Moses, thanks for tuning in. See you guys and God richly bless you. Bye-bye.